مرحبا بكم في قناتي. اليوم سوف أتحدث عن كاميرون هيرين البالغ من العمر 18 سنة. حكمت عليه محكمة فلوريدا بالسجن لمدة 24 سنة، وذلك خلال قيادته سيارته الفورد التي قتل أما وطفلتها في شارع ب24 التي كانت ذاهبة لزيارة خالها. ووقع هذا الحادث في سنة 2018، واستمر الحكم إلى سنة 2021. اتهم هيرين ومعه صديقه جون بالسباق في الشارع العام، واعترفوا بأنهم مذنبين، ويقضي جون عقوبة سجن 6 سنوات وهيرين 24 سنة. وقد قال المدعي العام أندرون وارين: لقد أودت هذه الجريمة بحياتين جميلتين، وتركت 4 عائلات محطمة. لا يمكن لأي أحد إصلاح هذا الضرر أو إعادة الأرواح المفقودة، لكننا نأمل أن توفر هذه النتيجة بعد الراحة لعائلة جيسيكا وليليا. وقال فريق الدفاع جون إن هيرين ارتكب خطأ ولم يفهم تماما العواقب التي يمكن تحدث أثناء السياقة. وقد شهد الدكتور مايكل سكوت الماهر أن دماغ هيرين يبلغ من العمر 18 سنة لم يتم تطوره بالكامل وتواصله بنفس الطريقة التي يعمل بها دماغ شخص في العشرينات من عمره. وقال الدكتور أيضا: كيف يمكن فعل شيئا بهذا الغباء الذي التقى به هيرين بشكل احترافي 30 إلى 40 مرة. وأكد فيها أن الطفل ذكي، لأن الجزء الذي يتوقف في الدماغ وهو الفحص الجنسي، حيث نتوقف ونفكر أفعالنا ليس كذلك. تحدثت عائلة هيرين عن بيع منزلها ومحاربة شركة تأمين الحاصلة الخاصة بهم للحصول على المال لدفعه لعائلة أم الطفل وطفلتها. أقر هيرين بالذنب في جريمة قتل المركبات الجنائية من الدرجة الثانية والسباق غير قانوني جنحت من الدرجة الأولى في شهر ديسمبر. ويقول المحققون أن هيرين كان يقود أكثر من 100 ميل في الساعة عندما اصطدم بجيسيكا البالغة من العمر 24 سنة وليليا البالغة من العمر 21 سنة شهرا. وقام المساعد المدعي العام أرون هوبارد المدعي العام للدولة بسحب سجل من المستنج سيارة هيرين يوضح مدة السرعة التي كان يسير بها قبل أيام فقط من تحطم السيارة. وقد قيل أن سرعة السيارة بلغت 101 ميل في الساعة. لدينا منظر حول هذا. قالت باميلا ليستينج والدة جيسيكا: لا أريد أن أبدو وكأنني لا أشعر بعائلة هيرين. وقد استمرت شهادة روبنولت العاطفية لمدة 24 دقيقة معه وهو يخاطب كاميرون مباشرة عدة مرات. أخذت بعض المقاطع من المحاكمة، فأتمنى أن تكونوا استمتعوا. لا تنسوا اللايك والأبوني وتفعيل الجرس. مع السلامة.
To adjudicate the defendant guilty, sentence him to 9 years in Florida State Prison. On count 2, same charge, court will adjudicate the defendant guilty, sentence him to 15 years Florida State Prison, and that'll run consecutive to count 1 for a total 24 years Florida State Prison. Count 3 is a misdemeanor, unlawful racing on a highway, so the court will adjudicate the defendant guilty, sentence him to time served. Mr. Heron, you have given up the right to appeal the determination of your guilt or innocence. You do have 30 days to appeal the sentence of the court. And I'll direct the bailiffs to take Mr. Heron into custody.
And he told me he had been involved in an accident. And it was clear to me that he was crying, and I kept him on the phone until I could get to the scene, helping him work his way through it. I said, it's going to be okay. I promise you, I'm on my way. And we talked that time, and it took me less than 5 minutes to get to the scene of the accident. And he said, Mom, I've killed someone. And I said, no, Cameron, it's just, at that point, it wasn't even clear to me how the accident what had taken place. I said, no, Cameron, no, you're mistaken. It's going to be okay. And I got to the scene of the accident. Tristan and Cameron and John Barano, in that middle part, the median part of Bayshore. I received and Tristan was sitting against a tree, crying. John Barano was sitting on the curb with his head in his hands, crying. And Cameron was on his hands and knees, throwing up and crying. I feel responsible for this accident, and I accept full accountability for my actions. If I could, I would step in front of Cameron and I would accept the punishment that you might render. That's how strong I feel about my involvement or my actions that led to this accident, perhaps. And Tristan was sitting against a tree. When Cameron and Tristan were finally released from jail after the accident, their father, Chris, had to sleep upstairs in the spare bedroom because they were so distraught. This went on for several weeks, and I can only describe it as like a PTSD, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not trying to diagnose, but I mean, what I saw was both of them were so impacted and affected by this accident. They saw and continue to see the accident play over and over and over in their heads, and I would hear screams at night from either of the boys as they were having these nightmares. They had anxiety attacks. When Cameron and Tristan were finally released from jail after the accident, they had anxiety attacks and panic attacks. This past almost 3 years has been the hardest thing I've ever gone through, and the hardest thing our family, the four of us, have had to go through. I'm sorry. Yes, if you have some. Thank you, sir.
Judge, I have just a statement that I'm going to read on behalf of Cameron Heron.
Yes, sir.
To begin, I would like to apologize to the family that lost two beautiful souls. The amount of remorse, sorrow, and regret that I feel is unfathomable, but I could not possibly imagine how you feel. I know that nothing can be done to turn back the clock, but I will and would do anything in my power to fix it. I am so sorry for what I did and what I caused. What is it? God is with these two beautiful souls, and I have no doubt that they are at peace. I had my last faith before the accident. I had lost my faith before the accident, but I brought it back afterwards and was confirmed to the Catholic Church soon thereafter. Along with my family, I will be carrying these two precious lives with me forever and wherever I go. I would also like to apologize to my friends and family for what I put them through, and I could never repay any of them for the support that I have received from them. I always pray for the Reisinger and Ravenel families because your pain must be unconscionable. My life will be, and I have no doubt that they are at peace. I had my last faith before the accident. I had lost. My life will be dedicated to repaying the cost of the lives that I took, and if given the chance, I will do everything in my power to prevent any fatal accident from ever occurring again. And that would be his statement.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Full life.
I always pray for the Reisinger and Ravenel families because your pain must be unconscionable.
The accident played over and over and over in their heads, and I'll hear screams at night.
You killed a mother and a daughter. You did. No one else in this city but you did, Cameron.
On count 1, sentence him to 9 years. On count 2, sentence him to 15 years, for a total of 24 years Florida State Prison.
It was a sentence heard around the world. 21-year-old Cameron Herin was going away for 24 years, but it might not end there. The stiff sentence is now being appealed by Herin's attorney.
I thought it was a very, very high sentence.
Criminal defense attorney Bjorn Brunvand, who is not connected to the case, says the defense will argue the judge abused his authority with a heavy-handed sentence and is asking the court to give Herin a second chance.
The appeal will basically examine what the judge did, whether or not he violated the law in any way.
Herin is accused of racing another teen, John Barano, on Bayshore Boulevard and hitting Jessica Ravenel and her baby Lilia as they crossed the street, killing them both. Last year, Barano took a state offer and pled guilty to vehicular homicide and unlawful racing and is now serving a 6-year prison sentence. Herin got 4 times that amount and now